Well, hello, Sarah. How are you?
Doing good, Chris.
Good.
How are you doing?
Good. So Sarah is a lender and also does title work.
Yes, sir.
So jack of many trades, or Jill of many trades, I suppose. And we've known each other for a little while now. Haven't had a chance to work together too much yet, but are working on that. And we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of shoot a little video for you all, talking a little bit about our philosophy, because I think our philosophy is probably a little different than a lot of people out there in the real estate industry.
Yes, it is.
You want to talk a little bit about your background, and then we can switch it up?
Sure. That's the first. Usually I get to ask people holding head. So I'm actually originally from Germany, as you can tell. I studied art and art history. I like to think outside the box, and I live by the motto, find your tribe. And my tribe is very much so on the educating side, because knowledge is power, and I like to educate my clients, give them all the options. That's why it takes me usually 24 to 48 hours to give a pre-approval, because we don't throw anything against the wall and see what sticks. And so they can also make an educated decision. Is it the right time? Is this the right option? There are so many things out there, and that's why I like actually working with you, hopefully soon, but picking your brain, because you're very much so like it.
Yeah. So I've been in Florida most of my life. I used to work in higher education, and so thus my background in wanting to be educational with my clients as well. And that's why if you visit my YouTube channel, almost all the videos are about some aspect of the home buying or selling process, because I really like to educate, and I don't like to sell. That's not what I think real estate is. Unfortunately, I found that a lot of the training is sales focused, and they talk a lot about scripts and scripts to practice and role play, and they talk a lot about how to close and all of that. And to me, I certainly want you to choose to work with me, and just as Sarah does. But I want you to choose to work with me because you believe that I'm going to help you. And so when I meet with a client, I really try to talk about, understand where are they? Whether it's home buying or selling, where are they? What are their goals? And then what do we need to do to help accomplish those goals? And so, when I'm talking to a client, if it appears as though, for example, they're maybe wanting to sell their home, but maybe they've not been in the home long enough, they're going to take a big loss if they sell, I actually tell my clients that. And I advise them, hey, if you can afford to wait, when home prices go up a little more, you've got a little more equity in the home, here's what you might be able to walk away with versus here's what you're going to walk away with now. And I've had clients kind of look at me, or potential clients at the time, look at me like I'm crazy, because that doesn't help me right then and there, right? Because if they choose not to list, well, then I'm not going to get paid from that potential transaction. And the reality is that I don't necessarily want to make money off of someone else making an uninformed decision that ultimately hurts them financially. I would rather wait, and hopefully when you are ready and time, the timing is right and you've got enough equity, that you then would call me, because I'm looking out for your best interests as I do my real estate thing. And clients have looked at me like I'm crazy, because they can't believe that I'm telling them, listen, I don't think it makes sense for you to sell right now, or honestly, it doesn't sound like, this is a good time for you to buy. I've done both of those. I had one client a couple years ago. She had some rental properties and she was selling her primary residence. She didn't like the neighborhood anymore. And she was in a bad financial situation, and so her plan was to sell the primary residence and then purchase another home.
Yeah.
And at one point I said to her, why don't you move into one of your vacant rentals? it gives you a chance to stabilize financially. Mm-hmm. You're not putting out anything financially. And then, once things stabilize and you've got a better sense of your finances, then we can go out and start to look for something. And her adult son actually called me and said, did you advise my mom not to purchase a home? And I said, yeah, I did. And he said, well, how does that help you? I said, well, it doesn't really, but I said the reality is that based on what I know about your mom's situation, it doesn't make sense for her to spend money on another home right now because she needs to get a handle on her finances. And then actually a year or two later, they called me to sell another one of their rental properties and help them purchase. And I've helped them with 2 or 3 transactions since. So, but it's so important, I think, that if you are thinking of buying or selling, that you find people that are not driven by the commission. They're not driven by the income. We both need to eat. We both need to feed our families.
We do, but I agree, because in the end, we only get paid once we close a loan. And sometimes it takes a hot minute to close a loan. We don't do the math on how much we get paid hourly, because we might cry. But I'm very much so, does it make sense to buy? Should you stay in that rental? Should we push the credit? What options are there? And educating on, okay, if we work on this for the next 6 months to a year, it's one of my favorite stories actually. It took 3 years. 3 years, he actually worked for a bank we shall not name, worked in the loan processing department. They took a look at his credit and said, sorry, not happening. And that was it. No education to what should we do, how should we push it, what can you do, what should you do with your finances, should you save up more money, what are your options. So we actually worked together for 3 years. The credit was amazing. By the time we were done, he did everything I told him to. We stayed in touch once a week, went over our game plan, saved up more money, pushed that credit, and when the time was right, we were able to use the first-time home buyer. It got a great rate, and he bought his dream house, and he's still happy. So those are things I like to do, and if it's just not the right time, I will say rent for at least another year. This is the plan. We go through the credit, we make a game plan. I'm not a credit expert, but I know a few things. But if it needs to be sent to someone that does work in credit repair, I will advise that too. It's like, listen, you have to go into credit repair. We stay in touch, we will monitor it, and we make a game plan. That's how I like to operate. Yep.
And I think, if you're a first-time home buyer too, it's even more important to have someone that is going to do that for you, that's going to help you put together a plan, because it's a mystery. If you haven't done it before, there's no stupid questions. Finding someone that's not driven by the paycheck, but rather about helping people achieve their goals. The paychecks come when you do that. And like I said, we both have families to feed. And so, that's a priority for us. But at the same time, I don't want to do that, nor does Sarah. We don't want to do that at the expense of our clients. I think you can do both. I think we can both make good livings doing what we're doing, but living and doing right by our clients and advising them appropriately. And so, one of the things I like to do with all of my home buyers, but specifically with first-time home buyers, is a buyer's consultation, where I walk you through all the steps of the process. I have a big folder of materials I give you too, which is probably overkill. But if you can't sleep one night, there's stuff for you to read. But I'm aware that if you've never done it before, it can be a very overwhelming process. And I also know that when I'm doing that buyer's consultation, again, if you've never done it before, it's kind of like drinking from a garden hose, right? There's so much information that, I'm pretty good at explaining things in a way to simplify them so people can understand, but it's still a lot of information, and so I want you to walk away with information as well so you can refer back to. And I want my clients to know that they can call me at any time, email me, text me, whatever. I'm on all of that. I'm on social media. I want to be accessible. I always tell my clients that I will answer the phone up until about 7 or so at night. I set some boundaries because I do have 2 young kids at home. But if there's an emergency, I'll obviously answer, and if I'm not busy with the family, I'll answer as well. But usually I'll answer unless it's late at night, unless I'm with another client, because I believe my clients deserve my undivided attention, or if I'm at a soccer game, because if you follow me on social media, you know I'm at soccer a lot. My kids both play travel soccer. My son plays high school soccer as well. So we're traveling around with soccer teams a lot, and really I can't answer the phone when I'm on the soccer field because it's too noisy, so I can't hear you. So I usually text you back and say, hey, I'm at soccer, I'll give you a call when I'm done. But I want my clients to feel like they have an ally and advisor along their journey to buying a home, and I think that's what you do as well.
Yes. With on top of your buyer consultation, when we do a pre-approval, and you get your pre-approval, you're ready to buy, cool. You think you're ready, you're most likely not ready, because finance is almost like another language. And especially if I say anything, you might be like, I have no clue what she just said. That accent will never go away. But with the pre-approval letter, you receive a full breakdown of what your pre-approval is. Let's just say you're pre-approved for conventional. It will say conventional, 30-year fixed. First-time home buyer, you're most likely at a 3% down. Then your purchase price, aka loan amount. And then I will break it down, and this is today's rate, this is today's lowest rate, and the free rate, because you know there's always cost involved, and I will give you the cost of how much the lowest rate is, and of course your free rate is free. Then what your estimated monthly payment is, what that estimated monthly includes, what your estimated cash to close is. It will say it includes your down payment, it includes the title fees, appraisal, etc. If there's seller credits, seller concession, that will be in there too, saying seller concession already deducted from estimated cash to close. If the seller chooses to give you less, we will have to add it back in. So you get like a whole page of what you're looking at. And I always say, when you go out to look at homes, pick your 5 top homes you want to see, send them to me before you go looking. I will pull the taxes, I will pull a estimated homeowners insurance, a homeowner insurance quote, and I will run you the numbers. You won't believe, some towns, the taxes are insane. I've had 2 or 3 in Bartow. They were $8,000 a year for a small house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom on a post-stamp size lot, and the house was $280,000. So you might rethink of wanting to keep that in your top 5. We need to look at your debt to income, which I explain how that goes too. I always want to make sure you're not maxed out, because you don't want to be house rich, cash poor. We want you to be at a good spot, we want you to be happy, and we want you to stay there as long as you wish.
Yep.
So
if you are thinking of buying or selling, definitely reach out to us. We'll put our contact information in the video.
Yes.
And even if you're not sure you're ready, we're very willing to have those conversations.
Absolutely, because it always starts with a conversation. If you're not sure that you can afford it, or you think you just can't, you might. If you're not sure where you want to live, what neighborhoods, Chris is the guy. He knows it all, and he's local, and he'll answer the phone till 7.
Yep. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Again, reach out if you have any questions. We'd love to help you. Have a great day.
Bye.